Hey, it's Alex, and I put together a few things you might want to grab towards the start of your Remnant 2 campaign. I'll show you how to get some strong early game weapons, explain a couple of gear and mod synergies, unlock your secondary class, and towards the end, walk you through obtaining a beefy armor set. Maybe too beefy. You'll see why. With Remnant's semi-randomized level progression and loot locations, this was kinda tricky, but I did find a way to focus this primarily on things that are guaranteed to work for everyone's first playthrough. Let's get into it, and if you happen to be new here, hit subscribe. First off, obtaining a solid SMG before you even leave town. Up in this room, you'll find a locked chest that requires a specific 4-digit code. Head into your inventory, and if you did the last part of the tutorial, you'll have a flashlight, and you're gonna need to inspect it. Resident Evil style, rotating it around will reveal your 4-digit code on the bottom. Now where could that go? After you pop open that chest, you'll obtain the cargo control key. Head on past this vendor towards the open fence with cargo containers. Navigate through there, and you'll come up to this beautifully textured door. I mean, look at it, that rustic patina. Door designer person 10 out of 10. Using the key on that, you'll find yourself the MP60R submachine gun on the nearby table. This has a base damage of 9 with a fast fire rate and a 42 count magazine. This is a great early sidearm choice, especially if you happen to not like the one that your class initially started with. It's good to pair this SMG or your main weapon with the Hotshot mod, which you can grab right at the start when you're presented with these 4 mod choices. One reason why I suggest Hotshot outside of imbuing your attacks with fire damage, activating it also instantly reloads your gun. Great to use right as your magazine depletes. If you chose the medic archetype at the start, your heavy machine gun has a pretty long reload animation. If you pick Hotshot though, you'll usually have that ready in time to completely avoid having to reload the thing. The other reason to consider picking Hotshot as your first mod is because Reggie in town sells the Firestone ring for 500 scrap. You'll quickly find enough to buy that, which increases your fire resistance, but more importantly, improves your outgoing fire damage by 10%. Equip that plus the Hotshot mod on the SMG you just found, and that creates a pretty strong starter combo. Or you can do all that with your primary gun instead, up to you. Now, if you're less concerned about number crunching DPS within the first 30 minutes of a video game you just booted up and simply want to die less, well, if you're not the medic class, you might want to take the healing shot mod from the start. Instead of having to rely purely on your limited use, kinda slow to use relic for healing, you can regularly top off your HP with healing shot. Unlike your relic, this will automatically come back by hitting enemies, and you can shoot it at your feet or a wall to quickly use it on yourself. Side note, if you're looking into further upgrading the level of your guns with iron at this point, check in with the vendor Cass, who will stock some. Throughout the game, she'll have a constantly expanding inventory of highly useful materials or random pieces of gear to buy. Make sure every trip back to town, check in with her. Second side note, if you started the game with the Challenger archetype, your default equipped armor set is going to have you heavy rolling. If you take off your helmet though, that will put you down to a medium weight, which gives you a faster dodge. However, something to keep in mind is that your backstep done by pressing dodge with no directional inputs is useful even as a heavyweight. This has iframes like your dodge, just less of them, but it's a quicker animation. Also, each melee weapon has a unique attack out of the backstep, and a backstep charge attack as well. Now let's fast forward ahead a little bit until your character has accumulated 10 total trait points. You can see how many you've acquired so far right here. If you have at least 10, it's time to unlock your secondary archetype, kinda like your secondary class. The sooner you do this, the better, so you can start leveling up that subclass and get more of its perks and skills unlocked. To grab a new archetype like the medic here for example, you'll need to buy the medical pin from Dr. Nora in town. Then take that up to Wallace to craft the engram for that archetype, which can be equipped in either your main or your secondary archetype slot. Instead, to unlock the handler class, talk to Mudtooth and buy his old whistle. Yes, you can have the Doggo Buddy even with Handler as your secondary archetype. For the Hunter class, talk to Brabus and purchase the Rusty Metal. For the Challenger, go to Reggie and grab the Old Metal Tool. And if you didn't get the Gunslinger as your starting class, you can still unlock it, but much later on in the game. Exhaust all of Mudtooth's dialogue after each world boss you take down, and you'll eventually be able to get the Iron Cylinder to craft the Gunslinger engram. You get the passive perks and active skills from the secondary archetype you chose, but you only get the main prime perk from the archetype you have on the left. You can dynamically change both your primary and secondary archetypes at pretty much any time. If you find that you've used up all of your relic healing charges, you can go into your inventory and swap over to the medic as your main archetype. Its prime perk gives you this meter above your health, and once you completely fill it by using healing skills, you can earn back a charge of your relic. If you have a horrible feeling you're about to die or just want a continue button, throw on the Challenger class when you're running low on life. The Challenger's prime perk will let you come back from death once every 10 minutes. There's more to the archetype system than you might initially assume, and there's other hidden classes you can unlock outside of the starting 5. You can find the Summoner archetype towards the start of the game if you want more of a minion-focused build. You'll need to have access to the Yisha area, and if you don't randomly have this biome at the beginning, you can just re-roll your campaign right at the start until you get it. Now explore through Yisha until you enter an area that's kinda dark and stormy, with these purple wisps flying around. Shoot them and you'll absorb Blood Moon Essence. Keep killing the decorative wildlife until you have a total of 15. Next you'll need to find the area's Blood Moon Altar, which is indicated with this blue symbol on your map. Interacting with that will open a shop, and with those 15 Blood Moon Essence, some Luminite Crystals, and some scrap, purchase the Faded Grimoire. Back in town, Wallace can convert that into the engram, which unlocks the Summoner archetype. Any brand new classes you unlock can be chosen from the immediate start of the game if you make a new save file. The Summoner comes with 3 different minion types, and this can be a great early game class since those minions can hold aggro for you. The Summoner's prime perk lets you damage your own minions to enrage them, which temporarily increases their outgoing damage, attack speed, and movement. These ones can also be detonated, which is a pretty strong AoE. This archetype starts with a crossbow as their main weapon, that same SMG I showed earlier as their offhand, and a spear for their melee weapon. Since it already has that SMG you can easily find in town, yes, I thought to try it as well. If you grab that SMG again, it will level up the one you already have to the next higher tier. You can combine the Summoner with the Handler archetype too, which lets you have minions plus a pupper at your side. Add to that something like Root Lash tentacles and some nice space crabs, and you have a full-on minion master. Back at the Blood Moon Altar, that sells some Summoner-specific gear if you want to farm more of those Blood Moon Essence, or you can sell those things for a decent price. Now we're going to fast forward once again to the point where you take down your first world boss. After that, you can enter the Labyrinth, which, lucky for the sake of this type of video, is going to be the same layout for everyone. This place is filled with all kinds of secrets, puzzles, and useful gear to grab. It's also filled with these unassumingly cute stone creatures. Love these little guys. Almost don't even want to kill them. Almost. After progressing through this place normally, you'll eventually exit from this portal in the ceiling and land in front of this checkpoint. Then heading directly forward from there, you'll run right into a portal which shifts between different exit points. Right as you see this one that looks like it's kind of going through space or something, wait about 2 seconds, then go through. If you time it right, you'll land right on these floating rocks. Fight a few things there, and you'll find the Cypher Rod. Head back to town and get Ava to craft the very fun Enigma Gun. This thing rules. Its primary fire will arc shock damage among nearby enemies, and it's quite strong against groups, or just single targets if they're weak to shock. The mod it comes with lets you fire these rods into the ground, which tether and form a damaging area of effect, or you can shoot them right into someone. Enigma pairs well with Reggie's Grounding Stone Ring, which increases shock damage by 10%, and you can get it right away. Now the last fast forward I'm going to make you guys do. After you beat the boss of this part of the labyrinth, you'll acquire the Biome Portal Key. Then from the Fractured Ingress waypoint, head over here. You'll spot a portal, but go directly behind it to carefully land into this hidden portal. You'll spot a portal, but go directly behind it to carefully land in this hidden portal down below. Then you're going to head through the portal on your left, and in that room, head through this rectangular opening. You'll see some square blocks sticking out that you can climb on, so jumping puzzle, do that until you see this short opening in the wall. Scramble through there, and don't fall down at the end. Hang a right and then jump over this gap. That'll lead you right to this doorway, which requires the Biome Portal Key to open. That warps you actually back to town, but in a secret little back area. Grab the Chicago Typewriter gun on that crate, and then open this one to get the Leto Mark II armor set. The Chicago Typewriter is a really good automatic weapon with a high capacity, and its spread narrows the longer you fire it. Pairs well with the hotshot stuff I explained earlier as well. The Leto Mark II armor provides a huge gain to your defense, but it's also the heaviest set you'll find in the game. At this point, the full set will probably put you at a ultra flop. What's ultra flop? Here you go. It's best to mix in just a piece or two of this set in with your existing one to get the highest armor rating you can while maintaining a playable weight. I created this combo to keep myself at a medium weight, and I usually don't like mixing sets, but I'm kinda digging this look. Drip? People say drip or something maybe? I don't know. So that's pretty much it. A few ways you can gain power towards the beginning of Remnant 2. Let me know if you're grabbing the game, and if you found any of this to be useful. This is also a full co-op game, so shoot this video over to a buddy, or don't, so you can show off stuff. As always, I'm Alex, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.